My name is Thabo, Pitso. I would like to welcome you to my solo exhibition titled Fake News, showing at Candice Berman Gallery, curated by Candice Berman. I'd like to take you through a tour. Come with me. This piece is titled Dipapadi. In Sotho, Dipapadi, it means games. This work, it's essentially paying homage to people that are honest and they put on the hard work. But you have people that, wanna just like bypass and come up with, tactics on how they can enhance their performances. Also in football, we know that people like to cheat about their age so that they can play for their national team. So it's just an introduction, basically about things that we support, football as being one of the biggest sports in the world. But just an introduction behind the scenes, what people have to do to put on a performance. So it's almost like an act that people go through. This work that I have here, it's basically invested more in the township, more where I almost spend most of my time, and places that I go to, stories that I hear, and experiences that I've also witnessed. The works on the top, one of the work is titled Food Puzzles. It's actually a commentary after we found out about this COVID, because everything was created under lockdown. That we don't have to worry, stay home. Food puzzles are on your way, sign up. But even to this day, majority of people are still waiting for the food puzzles to arrive. It's that commentary of the promises that we've been given, just stay home, make sure you don't go outside, we've got your back, food will be delivered. But in truth is that it never happened. For people to come up with survival, then they'll have to resort to going out and meeting other people that can help them out. For an example, there's a term called mavoso in township. Mavoso is a Pretoria lingo where if you meet a lady at night, maybe at a place of entertainment, you have an agreement with her that if you spend the night with me, I'll give you something. Mavoso is actually Zulu for like lift me up. So in the morning you lift my pocket up. The other one here, public opinion. It is in the best interest for people to say what they want, but in truth we can have our own opinions about governments and that, but governments will say we're following a particular protocol. Therefore, this particular protocol or this sets of rules have to be implemented by government officials. Hence we have the head of department, someone that sits in a position where they can actually help. But then they get caught up in corruption, they get caught up in not relating to the actual people on the ground. Most of this work is very political, very social, and very everyday life. And I wanted to be as explicit as I can in it. This work comments on the idea of food, on the idea of corporates that supply food that we eat every day. The Pick and Pay one, just to highlight, is a continuation of the first piece that I did, Mavoso. If you can read, it says that you can buy all four for 320. It's just that direct translation of the money that you get from Mavoso, then you go into, your Pick and Pay or ShopRite to just purchase food. But then the other question that will arise is that even if this food that we eat, is it food that we consume to nourish the body or to nourish the soul? Because it's important to watch what we eat. With this one, it's just how the big corporates are not really for the buyer or for the consumer, unless if they say it's a sale. But also if you look into that, take time, go to a grocery store and get all these items and then you just like look at how much they tally up, you'll find that it's not quite the saving that you are hoping to get. This work, it's called Second. It's a work about ceremonies. This one was more about ancestors and people before me. So when I almost say Second, it's a celebration of forefathers. As I look at how ancestors, they look over me, protect over me. So this is just to say Seconds. And with the lines, it's almost like the DNA generation to generation. Ceremonies are also very important, especially if those are cultural ceremonies, because it allows members of the community to come together. This work behind me is titled Your Love is King. Continuation of ceremonies. So this one, it's a ceremony of two people coming together. So it's a celebration of marriage, a celebration of a party, a celebration of an engagement. Your Love is King is actually a declaration amongst people that they promise to be there for each other in a time of need. And in African societies, when we have a wedding ceremony, everyone comes from afar. There is always this wonderful, colorful mixture, of lines. The streets are mostly closed off. People will be dancing on the streets. It's almost like this interaction of people. Essentially, it's tied more to how community come together. This work is titled Dikeledi Tsame, meaning my tears. As a continuation of ceremonies, obviously, this is a piece after the loss of a loved one. This is a ceremony of death. At the same time, it could also be a ceremony where we come together and we give praises to our ancestors, performing rituals on how we can talk to them. A lot of mixed emotions, also largely a dedication to a friend of mine, a fellow artist who committed suicide. Almost like the tears that I shared for him. It can also be the tears of joy, of the memories that we spend, or when we remember our loved ones, that becomes your tears, and your tears certifies, that relationship between you and that particular person. So yeah, moreover, it was quite a profound dedication to a friend of mine, Prince Mpondo. Just to say that, even if I've shed so much tears with you, I still shed tears of joy. We've loved so much. We've loved so much. We were literally rolling on the floor, from our adventures and stuff. So it's a mixed piece, but each has a different day on depending on which story you want to tell.